Tui! We've been tagged. Welcome to Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees. Okay, like I said, we have been tagged. It's been a long time since I've done a tag on the channel here, and normally I'm the one creating tags and then I tag other people and see if they do them. I don't think I've actually been tagged to do a tag. Maybe ever. So this is an exciting day. So, today we have been tagged in the Disney Most Underrated tag by our good friend Nina over at Wrestling with Disney. So Nina put out her video with all of her answers for these questions, and then she decided to tag myself, as well as our other good friend Morgan over at Teaching Disney. So I highly recommend watch their videos as well to hear their thoughts, but watch their videos after you've watched this one. I need the watch time. If you haven't seen a tag video before, they are so much fun. I love tags. They're super simple. You basically have a list of questions, then you just go through the questions and answer the questions. I love tags because you get to see what different people's opinions are with the same prompts, and they're also just a really fun way to, sort through your mental Rolodex and see what your opinions are and where, if your opinions have changed at all from what you would think they would be. I don't know. I really like tags. Okay, so today's tag, like I mentioned, is the Disney Most Underrated tag, which I'm so excited for. Because if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know that I am always here to talk about underrated Disney movies and just underrated movies and underrated content in general. So, today's tag has 11 questions. Oh, and shout out to the tag creators. This tag was created by the Disney sisters as well as Twinkle Bell Taryn. So, after you've watched my video and you've watched Nina and Morgan's videos, go watch their videos, subscribe to all of them. They're wonderful. Okay, without any further ado, let's answer these questions. And I'm going to say right now, I think I probably have a video addressing all of these opinions that we're about to go through together. So I'm going to kind of move quickly through these, but if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts on any of these topics, there's probably a video to go with it, and if there is, I'll either link it above, below, either or, who knows. Here we go. Okay, number 1. Favorite underrated Disney movie. This is an easy one. This is the movie that I always say is my favorite Disney movie, but it's always so hard to say you have a favorite Disney movie because they're all so good. But, in a life or death situation, I would probably say this is my favorite Disney movie, but then I would feel so guilty for the other Disney movies like Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. Okay, no, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to commit to it right now. Favorite underrated Disney movie, and maybe favorite Disney movie ever. Hercules. Who put the Glad in Gladiator? Hercules. Hercules is an underrated classic. Everything from the music, which is a bop, to the animation, to the Greek mythology, this movie sparked my childhood interest in Greek mythology. I love everything about Hercules, and it is so underrated because I think it's a movie where there is a lot going on stylistically, and to some people, to the uncultured, dare I say, they just don't get it. But those who get it, get it. And Hercules, I get it. Okay, number 2. Most underrated Disney movie, parentheses, not your favorite, in your opinion, the most underrated movie. So, there we go. See, this takes care of what I was saying. Hercules, I think my favoritism is at least partially informed by nostalgia, but if I'm speaking objectively, if I'm speaking with, as 2-degree Matt, the Matt who went to film school, the Matt who has studied screenwriting, the Matt who has studied filmmaking, the most underrated Disney movie right now, and as time goes on, maybe ever, Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon is an incredible movie. I would go as far as to say that Raya and the Last Dragon is the best Disney princess movie that Disney has ever produced. In fact, I did go as far as to say it. I have an entire video about that. Plug. But no, seriously, Raya and the Last Dragon I think is structurally perfect. I think the characters are incredible. I think it's Disney reimagining what it means to put out a princess movie. A movie that honors all of the tropes and all the things that we love about classic Disney films while still kind of moving forward and moving away from things that might not have aged well necessarily in those older princess movies. And I think it was a really smart choice to make it not a musical. Plus, I think the animation is beautiful, and they do this brilliant thing where they go back and forth between the computer-generated CGI animation as well as animation that's more of a traditional hand-drawn 2D look. And as somebody who loves 2D animation, to me, that is just, it is chef's kiss. And I think the really tragic thing with Raya and the Last Dragon is that it came out in 2021, the year of Disney Premier Access, alongside the year of Encanto. And right now, Encanto is on track to be the biggest Disney movie franchise since Frozen. I didn't look up the statistics, but I'm assuming, and I'm probably right. And I think the real tragic thing there is that people are going to forget about Raya and what an amazing film Raya is, compared to Encanto, which is not a good movie. Again, I did a video about that. Please watch it. Number 3, most underrated Disney character. Again, not to sound like a broken record, I've already done an entire video about this, and I stand by what I said. Meg from Hercules is the most underrated, and I would say one of the best Disney characters. Kind of the SparkNotes version of why I think Meg is such a great character. It has to do with the fact that it's kind of reinventing what it means to be a love interest in a Disney film. She's also one of, if not the only Disney characters that actively sacrifices her life in the interests of love. Like, if you just look at everything that Meg goes through, she is one of the most dynamic and compelling characters in any Disney film. She essentially goes through this entire journey where she starts as pretty much a villain and ends with a redemption. I don't know, I think Meg is an incredible character, not to mention the fact that she is voiced by a Disney goddess, Susan Eagan. We love Susan, and I Won't Say I'm in Love, one of the greatest Disney songs of all time. I'm not going to say most underrated, because despite what people think of Hercules, we all know that song's a bop. Okay, number 4, most underrated Disney animal. No question here. Of course, for me, it's going to be a cat. But the question was, which cat? Because I think almost all the Disney cats are pretty severely underrated. Disney dogs get all the attention, but cats are where it's at. The cat I want to specifically draw some attention to today is Berlioz from the Aristocats. I think he is the greatest of the Aristokitten trio, but all of the media attention goes to Marie. I think Berlioz is just as cute, he is just as sassy, and he's a musician. He's an accomplished composer. What's there not to love? Underrated? Absolutely. Alright, number 5. Favorite underrated Disney song. I'm gonna admit, this one, a little bit of a stretch, because it's not a song that people would typically think of when they think of Disney music, but to counter that argument, I think anything that is under the umbrella of at least Disney animation, you can't call those songs underrated, because those are songs that are on all the playlists that everyone loves. No, my choice is from a movie that was produced by Disney. It's under the Disney Studios umbrella, so as far as I'm concerned, it counts. It is from Muppet Treasure Island. It is Professional Pirate. It is Tim Curry's only number in that entire film, and he already steals the show in that movie, which is tough to do when you're sharing the screen with the greatest puppet comedy troupe of all time. Tim Curry steals that movie, and this number is his specific time to shine. I just think it's him taking all the stuff that made his performance in Rocky Horror so incredible, but now he's doing it as a pirate. Musically, I think the song is incredible. It's like, hey ho hey, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Clearly, I don't know it enough to be able to sing it to you, which I think is further proof that it's underrated. And when you're a professional pirate, you don't have to wear a suit. And actually, it's not just Tim Curry and not just the music. The entire supporting cast, between the Muppets as well as the human performers that are kind of making up the pirate ensemble, there are so many witty one-liners and incredible performances. Special shout out to the Marlon Brando impersonation that went over my head as a kid, but I fully appreciate now. We're always here for an on the waterfront shout out. I could have been a contender. Alright, number 6, most underrated Disney soundtrack. Now, like the Muppet Treasure Island song, this one, kind of a stretch, because it's not what you would think of with actual Disney, because it wasn't produced by Walt Disney Studios, but Disney did put their money into this movie happening. It was produced for The Wonderful World of Disney on ABC in 1997. It is, of course, the soundtrack from the Brandy and Whitney Houston, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. If you didn't hear me, let me repeat exactly what I just said. The Brandy and Whitney Houston, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Need I say more? What else do you need to make a soundtrack the greatest a soundtrack could ever be. You have the like greatest team of American songwriters being like reimagined and reinvented by some of the greatest pop stars of the 90s, if not like of all time. It's amazing. And it's not even just Brandy and Whitney Houston. The rest of that cast, Bernadette Peters, Jason Alexander, Whoopi Goldberg, Victor Garber, I mean, it's the greatest soundtrack, maybe not even just of any Disney movie, of all time. And I stand by that. Impossible? It's possible. Okay, number 7. Favorite underrated live action Disney movie. I am again pulling from ABC's Wonderful World of Disney. This might have even been the same year. I think it might have been 97. It is the Steve Gutenberg and Kirsten Dunst Tower of Terror movie. Now hear me out. I know this movie kind of has a bad reputation for being not a great film, but most of the things that aren't great about the movie are just by nature of the fact that this is a low budget, made for TV film from the 90s. Once you get past the production value not being that good, the script is actually pretty decent. Like, if you like The Tower of Terror, this is a movie I think you'll enjoy. Because it does such a brilliant job of bringing that ride and the mythology surrounding the tower attraction into a 90-minute film. And this is the thing that I think is kind of tricky when you're adapting the Tower of Terror into a film. As I say that as though it's something that a lot of people have done. But I think this is the challenge with Tower of Terror, is that it is such a period piece, but when you're going on the ride, the entire encounter is kind of made creepy by the fact that you're encountering something that's been like long abandoned. So you want to come up with a narrative that's going to sort of give you an opportunity to exist simultaneously in the past as well as in the present, and that's what this film does. I think it's a great tribute to showing us who those 5 ghost characters are that were in the elevator when they disappeared. It's a ton of fun. And I know we are going to be getting a big budget Hollywood, it's not even a remake, a big budget Hollywood Tower of Terror movie. I know it's not going to have anything to do with this film, but in my mind, a bar has been set, and I hope it exceeds it. Okay, number 8, most underrated Disney villain. For this one, I'm going with Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. I know she's not exactly obscure, but I do think she is underrated, because when you think of Disney villains, you kind of gravitate towards the more magical ones, and specifically with Lady Tremaine, she was voiced by Eleanor Audley. Eleanor Audley is probably best known for being Maleficent's voice, in addition to Madame Leota, and she was also Lady Tremaine. Like, she is an absolute Disney queen. We love Eleanor Audley. And I think Lady Tremaine can kind of take a back seat when you're looking at those 3 roles, because Maleficent is basically the face of Disney villainy. Madame Leota is the face of, Haunted Mansion fandom, and I think Lady Tremaine, like I said, is easy to take a back seat to those 2 characters. But when you watch the film, there is so much nuance, so much subtlety, and it is just such a well thought out performance that is being completely conveyed through voice alone. Watching that movie made me fall in love with Eleanor Audley as an actor. So, Lady Tremaine, absolutely the most underrated Disney villain. Alright, number 9, underrated Disney princess. I don't even need to give this another thought. This was one of the very first videos on my channel ever. It's called The Best Disney Princess You've Never Heard Of. Spoiler alert, I'm about to tell you who it is. AIDA. Now, you're probably saying, what? What's in AIDA? AIDA is the title character from a Disney on Broadway show. And tied with AIDA, Amneris. Because this is the thing. AIDA, the musical, has not one, but 2 Disney princesses, and they are both incredible. They both exhibit traits that I think are so important and usually missed when it comes to Disney princesses. And, not to get into it too much, but I feel very strongly that if you have a princess, by merit of their role as a princess, they are a future ruler, so you have to see how they're invested in wanting to help people and, grow into being someone who can rule, and that's exactly what we see with those 2 characters in AIDA. AIDA is so good. Please watch my video. Or just listen to the AIDA soundtrack. Okay, number 10. Most underrated Disney couple, and this shouldn't come as a surprise at all based on what I've already said in this video, but I'm going with Hercules and Meg. Again, for most of the reasons I've already spoken about in this video. Just with both characters, what I think is so great is that they both have their own storylines, and it's not necessarily about each other. Like, it's not a story about Hercules trying to get Meg. It's not a story about Meg trying to get Hercules. They're kind of both on track to try to be the best versions of themselves, whether they realize it or not, and they're able to help each other with that. I think that's beautiful. I love that movie. I love those characters. That's my answer. All right, and the bonus question, number 11, most underrated Disney sequel. I have two answers here, and they're both direct-to-video / direct-to-DVD sequels, because pretty much every Disney sequel is / was that. So my first answer is Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Prince of Thieves? Aladdin and the Something of Thieves. Aladdin and the Something Royals of Thieves. They were able to get Robin Williams back, which is always a joy, and I think there's just a lot of nice closure that you get for all the characters that we have fallen in love with through the course of the first Aladdin film, Return of Jafar, and if you were a kid of that generation, the Aladdin TV show. I think it concludes all of their narratives beautifully. It's a fantastic film. Plus, just getting that storyline of Aladdin's lost father, beautiful. My next answer is, actually, it's also a part 3. Disney has a really good track record with direct-to-video threequels? Thirdquels? The third part. It's Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. Nobody expected this movie to be good, and it was phenomenal. The stepmother comes in control of the fairy godmother's magic wand. Anyway, there's time travel. There's time travel, which allows an alternate branched-off universe where one of the stepsisters, Anastasia, where Anastasia gets to fall in love with and marry the prince. Well, not fall in love with, that's kind of the entire point. Anastasia, gets with the prince, and then neither of them are necessarily happy, but it's a beautiful character study for Anastasia. It kind of gives her a bit of a redemption arc, and it is a brilliant film that not a lot of people saw, but those who have seen it, I have not heard a bad review. So Cinderella 3, Twist in Time, most underrated Disney sequel. Watch it, along with the Aladdin one. So, there we go, friends. Those are my answers for the underrated Disney tag. I want to thank Nina so much for tagging me. Again, make sure that you go check out Morgan's video over at Teaching Disney to see what she had to say. And now, in the spirit of tags, I guess I need to tag someone. I don't know if he's done this video tag yet, or if he's planning to, but if he's not, Lorne from Castles, Capes, and Clones, the tag is in your court? Is that how that works? Just tag, you're it. I'm tagging Lauren. And you know who else I'm tagging? You. If you are watching this video and you have a channel, I highly encourage you to do this tag yourself. Even if you don't have a channel, just write your answers in the comment section down below. And with that, friends, this concludes yet another episode of Teacup for One. Now let me know in the comment section down below, do you agree with any of my underrated favorites? What are your underrated favorites? Get this conversation going. And if you want to be the first to know when I release more videos about Disney, Shakespeare, movies, sometimes Funko Pops, sometimes cats, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. If you haven't subscribed already, it is so easy. All you have to do is click on my face. Thanks for joining me again today, everyone. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and that's the Tea Cup for One. Go away.